Hello everyone and welcome to week 3 of my free-to-play account. So I missed out last week number 2 of the account update, so this will cover week 2 and 3, which I think works well because I've really been working on the same stuff anyway, so there's not much difference between the weeks. I was just working on a lot of videos for the new era last week, so didn't have time for this update, but we'll make up for that now and catch up with the account. So last we left off, I was still under level 85 in the week 1 update, so that of course has now been passed. I think it took about 12 days, give or less, to reach 85. I've seen anywhere from like 10 days to 14 days, depending on, I guess, how keen you are to do all of the many quests, and it could be quite manual and time consuming. So yeah, it took a week and a bit to get through that, and I'm now up and running in terms of a fully fledged level 85 account with access to most things in the game now. And yeah, it was quite fun moving through the various journey quests. I think some might still be showing. I've only got a few left that are less important. So through that was able to get a bunch of character shards, a bunch of crystals actually from that, and all of the journey events. And then also I covered this in the first week, but all of the various lightspeed tokens as well, which really sets up new accounts and really changes things in terms of overall farming order and plans. So yep, that's the very new part of the game done with. So now we are fully focused on farming and working towards several goals. So on this account I will be working towards, very initially, home 1 and then on to profundity afterwards. So I think a little bit different from maybe the typical path, especially now with the lightspeed tokens, that would maybe go for executor first. My plan is actually to do the why not both meme and go for profundity. Bit of a pause for Leia. I say pause, a full-on farm of Leia, and then swing back around and get executor. I'm just about to release a sort of fully fledged farming guide, so I won't go too much into the whys of that strategy, but basically it's just due to timelines, what I think is effective to work on early, and farms I think sort of mesh together quite nicely. And also I always think it's good to go for multiple really good fleets early, both in terms of, yes, it's helpful in Fleet Arena, but you really only need one really good fleet for Fleet Arena, but it can be helpful to chop and change. But also it mostly helps in GAC, and also these fleets take forever to unlock, so the earlier you can get them, especially if you can do it in quite an efficient way, I think really sets up an account quite nicely. That's pretty much what I did on my main account. I think I went executor, then I think finished like the Rey lightspeed bundle, and then went straight into profundity, just to like alleviate the sort of zeta crunch from the various lightspeed bundles. And it was pretty great to have both of those fleets up very early and just accumulating the shards, and it really helped me punch up in GAC. So that's the plan for this account. In terms of the immediate plan, so we of course got the lightspeed tokens, if I can remember where they are. Yes, so I've already spent the rebel one, as you can see on Drogon. He will be the main pilot of my early home 1 fleet. Calcatarn, so I might have mentioned that I was thinking about using the Jedi lightspeed token on him. I did change my mind and I went with just a carbonite lightspeed token to get past the Chirotech, and I've been farming his gear up, actually making pretty good progress with that. It's pretty much just the purple pieces that are a bit slower to farm efficiently early on, but I will get there hopefully within another week, I would say. But I decided to switch from using that Jedi lightspeed token on him, mainly because, well, actually for 2 reasons. The first reason is that I don't yet have a fully functioning fleet to make full use of him. So I don't necessarily need him to be up at full power straight away. It's fine, I can take a few more weeks just to farm his relics the old-fashioned way. And once that's ready, the Home 1 fleet, or I guess version 1 of the Home 1 fleet, will start to be coming online round about the same time. But the other reason is that if we actually go to Ravensclaw, his shards are in the same node as his ship, and of course I'll be farming his ship anyway, so I literally save nothing in terms of his shards, which I'll be farming quite quickly, because at the very start, I think maybe till I get about to 5 stars, I will be single refreshing this node, as you can see, because it's a pretty important ship for the fleet, which means I'll be getting a very nice head start on his shards. So felt like a bit of a waste to use the Jedi Lightspeed token on him for those couple of reasons. So went with the Carbonite, was able to get quite a lot of era currency just from the end of the era. I think I was only getting about 50 a day, but then we had like the conversion, the era battle at the end, so I ended it with I think just shy of 2,000 era currency, so was more than enough to buy that. So these are the two main pilots of the fleet and are the ones I really need up and running at relics as soon as possible. I'm then focusing on the other pilots for the various ships in the fleet. So I started off by working on these two that will be part of either the Phantom or the Ghost. I think the Ghost, I always get those two mixed up, alongside Hera, who's already at relics from the Lightspeed token. So that will be a good sort of plug and play fleet or ship for that fleet. And then Big Dark Glider I think will be my tank initially, while I'm still working on the Y-Wing, which will be a bit slower to farm. I may, depending on how I'm getting with Mark 1, I may pop a Carbonite Lightspeed token on him depending on where my fleet's at and if I'm ready to start taking advantage of it before I'm able to get him up to gear 12, but we'll see how that goes. I don't like using the Carbonite Lightspeed tokens on non-Kyrotech characters, but if it means significantly higher fleet placement, especially early on, it might be worth it, so we'll have to see for that one. The rest of the pilots who are also profundity requirements, which I will be working towards, are here, so I will start to pick up Jyn Erso and Cassian shards and Bistan a bit later, but I think these two primarily, because if we go back to ships, one of the ships I've actually made the most progress on so far, it's not actually unlocked yet, is Cassian's U-Wing, and that is because I have been farming Cantina a lot. So it's a bit of a virtuous cycle. I was about to say vicious cycle, but it's a virtuous cycle of I have been farming Cantina, I've been farming Drogon and his ship, or mainly his ship. I already have him at relics, and yeah, so farming him up to I think 6 stars is where I'll get it to, and I'll explain why 6 stars, which might seem a little bit odd a little bit later in the video. But by putting in a lot of Cantina energy here, I've been getting a lot of this currency, which I have been able to spend on Cassian's U-Wing. So already over exactly halfway, I would say. Yeah, 165 out of the 330. And I'm on the lookout for as many 6-star ships as possible. So that might be an incentive to maybe prioritize these two actually over Kanan and Zeb, because their ship will be a little bit further behind in terms of shards. So I might switch to putting gear and maybe Lightspeed tokens on them. We'll have to see. They're very easy shard farms, but do require currency that is in quite high demand at the moment. Cassian requires this Squad Arena store currency, which I really need for prestige at the moment, so might make sense to maybe chuck some form of Lightspeed token on them. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so these sort of 6 are my main sort of home 1 targets at the moment. Then these 3 are good characters but less important They're the other requirements for profundity, but because my main focus is on home 1 early, these can wait a little bit later, and they'll eventually save up relics and error currency for lightspeed tokens. For these, I'll use some form of lightspeed token on all of them, hopefully Erodium lightspeed tokens on a couple and Carbonite on the others. So that's the main plan. At the moment, as I go through in my farming guide, I'm in a little bit of a side quest, I guess you can say, and that is for, actually it's easier just to demonstrate, that is for fleet challenges. So one of the best early events is the ship ability material events. I don't think I can, I can show the rewards. Oh yeah, great, it does show. So one of the most important tiers is this one here that rewards Zetas, which is great, but really the reason I want it is for the extra prestige and for this purple ship ability material, which can be a real bottleneck early, especially because I'm really focusing on ships and fleets early, so would want access to this as early as possible. And then yeah, so the required characters or ships for this is a 5-star Tarkin, and I'll explain how I'll go about unlocking a 5-star Tarkin, but also I don't think it says it here, but 6 ships at 5 stars. They can be any alignment. Obviously Empire ships will work better in terms of actually doing the battle, but 6 ships at 5 stars, and that is one of my main priorities. But then I also want to push a bit further and do this higher tier, because I really want this yellow ship ability material as well, which is another real bottleneck. Usually guides would maybe say get to this, get the Zetas, but I think in terms of long-term ship farming, I think I should really focus on this, and this requires 6 6-star ships, which is why I really want to get B-Wing. Not necessarily because I'm going to be using them in the Empire fleet to unlock, although maybe, because it will still be quite strong, but just because I need 6 ships at 6 stars and I currently don't have any, so that would be one of the candidates. So too will be all of these Empire ships, but then also things like Cassian's U-Wing, which isn't even here, that will be another one I get to 6 stars. So that will be a real focus early on, is getting all of those ships usable and up to 6 stars, get these events, and then fully focus on home 1. Of course, part of this will be already focusing on home 1 ships like the B-Wing, but the first stop is getting these ship ability tiers, and to get that you need a 6-star and a 5-star Tarkin. And it's kind of complicated to go through, but to get a 5-star Tarkin, you need 4 dark side ships at 4 stars, and then you can do the ability material event at 5 stars for the first one with the Zetas. And yeah, you need 4 ships at 4 stars, and I've already met the requirements. I just need to get a little bit more gear and power into these ships in order to complete the battle. I'm actually already not 100 miles away, but we'll just continue to invest in these ships in particular, and Vader and TIE Pilot, and get this one unlocked so I can then do the ship ability material one. And then this one requires, I think, 5 of them at 5 stars, or 6 of them at 5 stars, either 5 or 6, but 5 stars, all dark side ships. So there's a little bit of a circle there, a bit of a chain in terms of what I need to do to get those ships unlocked. So yeah, that's my main focus at the moment. Other things are on still trying to get the home 1 fleet up and running, with slowly saving up things like the reinforcement ability material, which you can get through the fleet battle bonus rewards, and also just you get it has a chance to drop in these battles as well. Yep, here it is. So it's all a bit of a cycle that feeds into each other. I need to be able to do these to get these to have a better fleet, but then I also need a better fleet in order to do these missions. So it's initially a bit of a slow progress, but I think once I get the ball rolling and get the sort of Empire and the Home One fleets at a decent state, I'll really start to be able to jump up in terms of fleet performance and then start to target Fleet Arena, which at the moment isn't really a possibility. But I think I'm hopeful within several weeks I'll have at least an outline of a Home One fleet that I can start to climb with, and then we'll see where we go from there. Right, so earlier I mentioned not using the Jedi Lightspeed token on Cal Katarn, and that's because I think I'll have another use, or I will have another use for that Lightspeed token, and I think I will put it on Padawan Obi-Wan, who will be somewhere in here. Already had some shards, but that doesn't matter too much. So the reason I would like to put it on Padawan Obi-Wan is to mainly help a little bit in Conquest. So Conquest is just about to start. It will be easy mode, so it's not the best rewards, but I think I may as well just try get some rewards. And with the Omicron on Padawan Obi-Wan, I will be able to make some progress together with the Phoenix and maybe some like Inquisitor team as well, so will get me a little bit of return. The other good option for this Lightspeed token is Hermit Yoda, but that is just, I think, too far in the future. It'll be well over 6 months before I even start going for Jabba, and probably a little bit later than that, just due to my farming plans. So it doesn't make sense for me just to sit on that and use it on Hermit Yoda, who isn't that useful on his own until you start getting like Jedi Master Luke. So in order to, I think, extract value, have Padawan Obi-Wan for Conquest, but also can help out just in sort of general Jedi team with Keller and Beck, because he's Galactic Republic. So I think will be a good use of that is a Cantina farm as well, Carotech, which is always nice. So yeah, I think because Conquest is just about to start, I will go ahead and use the Jedi Lightspeed token on Padawan Obi-Wan. So let's do that. Now, there we go. A nice GP bump, and oh yeah, I don't even need to apply. I was going to apply a Zeta, but that's already done. I will go ahead and apply my first Omicron, so maybe controversial it being a Conquest Omicron, but I'm all about the resources and GAC. I mean, I'll be able to maybe get one for Rex soon enough, but I'm just really not focusing on GAC at the moment. It's mostly against like huge accounts that I can't really do anything against, so may as well use it in an area where I can at least get some return early on. So yeah, first Omicron done and dusted. Okay, so that leads me on to Coliseum. So I have been doing separate videos going through the progress of this account and a few other accounts that I'll maybe link to, but the too long don't read is that so far I've invested, I think, 700 crystals, one for a currency pack and one for a gear pack, and that was just to get a slight bump up. I was very to and fro for applying the gear, just because currency will be the long-term bottleneck for free to play, just because you go through the episode track much slower than pay to play. So I did a very conservative crystal investment because this is a very new account. I don't really have that great crystal income. I didn't want to go for like going straight to like level 12 on the first day, because it can be a bit of a gamble. Yes, you can do it in like as little as I think like 1500 crystals or something I've seen, but it could be more than that if you get unlucky, which I always seem to do with these packs. So you could be spending like 2000 crystals, something like that, to get into the top 60, maybe top 30, but I'd eventually fall out of that anyway, just because yeah, I'm not able to invest that much with this being such a young account. But I've invested, I think, very conservatively, but hopefully trying to keep in that top 90. I've done that for a few days now. Might continue to invest a little bit of our currency, not any more gear, and I've been able to reach tier 2 for the first time on the Zephyr Guardians. So yeah, going well and getting a little bit of era currency, so already starting to approach that 5,000. So my strategy is to use era currency to get past bottlenecks. I don't think it's smart to just spend it on a bunch of Carbonite Lightspeed tokens when you can't make use of all of those Gear 12 characters. There's no point for me them just sitting there for future relicking. So I will, I think, try to be quite aggressive in spending Erodium Lightspeed tokens, definitely on some of these guys, but maybe, depending on how well I continue to do, maybe on even some non-Kyrotech relics, just to get the ball rolling with the profundity farm and also with fleets. So yeah, watch out for that, I guess. And yeah, other stuff, I think the guild, the Return of the People completely free to play guild, has continued to do very well when it comes to the raid. So I think they managed to get to this box 4 last time. Everyone pretty much able to contribute something, some people a lot more than others, which is great to see. They're a little bit older accounts, and when I say older, they're like 3 months sort of joining just before the anniversary, but still very young accounts and able to do quite well in the raid, which is great to see. I'll look to try to increase my score to 600,000 once I start spending some Mark II on Electrum conductors to get Keller and Beck up to R7. So yeah, I think that's everything in terms of the update. GAC, I mean, yeah, there's not much I can do so far. The main focus is on fleets. So yeah, I'll now hop on over to a little bit of a stat summary, and yeah, I'll do that now. Right, so I'm actually just going to take this from my stats that were last week, even though I didn't do a video then, but this is the progress over the last week opposed to at the very start. So account is 15 days old. It's a little bit older. It's, I think, exactly 21 or maybe 20 days, but wasn't doing Galactic War for all of those, which is where this figure is calculated from. So it will continue to be like 5 days, 6 days off, but that will matter less and less as the account age grows. So another nice GP boost, I think, due to Lightspeed tokens, farming ships, that sort of thing. So about to approach the 1 million mark, maybe by next week once we get the new journey quest characters. I might tick past 1 million, which is good. Guild also a nice solid bit of GP increase as well, which is great to see. Mods, so I think I now have 1 mod above 15 speed, which is where these stats are calculated from. So huge increase from 0 up to 0.14, so well done me. I have been sort of just farming mods with spare mod energy, but still need to go through a lot of them and try roll up some speed. I don't really have any refreshes, so it'll just be about leveling them up. So mods initially won't be a big focus, but as soon as I get some more crystal income, I'll then start to do more mod refreshes, so that will come in the future. Personal raid score, so I took Keller and Beck up to Relic 5 and was able to get the 450k. I will eventually take him up to Relic 7 to get the 600,000, but I'm focusing my Mark II raid currency on Calcatarn at the moment, so maybe next week Keller and Beck might be R7, we'll see. And then also slight increase in personal rewards. Still really good Mark II and Mark III from the guild. Doing really well with that 4th box. Crystals is, I guess, a big issue at the moment just because I'm not getting any fleet placement. So I have to be very careful with spending crystals, which is why I didn't want to go too much into the era spending, even though I think it is advantageous to do so early on. I just don't have a lot of crystals to play around with and need to save them for like ship farming and stuff like that. So no assault battles. I think I did get to the bonus tier of this one, maybe with the right modding, although my mods are really bad at the moment, and maybe a couple of relics. I could have done CT1 on Forest Moon and also Fanatical Devotion. I think the mods were just an issue and I just didn't have a lot of time to really manually go through those assault battles last week, which I think could be possible with a tiny bit of investment into the Inquisitors that I have. So hopefully these will be CT1 soon, and then we'll try the other assault battles when they pop up. I don't have Jabba. I must have left this on from another account, so ignore the slug. But yeah, that's it in terms of stats. I'll actually just quickly go through my era rank progress over the first few days of the new era. Right, so we've had 6 days, so just a bit of a demonstration in terms of what I did. First day I didn't do any investment. The reason being is that I initially intended to do a bit of a comparison between 3 accounts. So my bigger account, my middle account, which I may be spending a bit more in order to get their currency, and then also a completely free-to-play account. So I initially planned on doing nothing in terms of investment, just to set a benchmark and just to see what the overall rank would be over the course of an era, how much era currency you get without doing anything apart from just actively playing. But then I sort of reconsidered that after a couple of days and decided that I don't think it's very interesting to do that when I think that's maybe the non-optimal way of doing things. I think spending a little bit of crystals early on is the slightly more optimal way to go about things. So I thought that would be a better reflection rather than doing something I know to be maybe not the best path. So I switched things up after a couple of days and spent a little bit of crystals. In the future I may spend more, but at the moment not that many crystals, so just invested a tiny amount and have been able to, apart from one day, stay in the top 90, and that yeah, I think maybe that might be where I try stay. Maybe if things go right, I can maybe try push into the top 60, but that might be unlikely, especially once more people spend, people get stuff from the episode pass, stuff like that would just naturally pass free-to-play players who aren't getting that much era currency. So yeah, so far so good, I would say. Yeah, so that does it for this week's update. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time.